Hey there everybody, Utah here. I haven't put a video out in a little while, so I want to take a few minutes and kind of catch you up on where we are. Now, as many of you know, we moved to Southern California a few years ago. We had some work opportunities down here. But what this means is we really do miss prospecting in Utah. I had a few spots I love to go, and I've really missed the chances to go and prospect some of those areas where I was getting pretty good gold. Believe it or not, I was actually getting better gold typically in Utah over what I get in California. Now, last week, I had the opportunity to take one of my kids back to Utah where he will be attending school this fall. And so I thought I would take that chance to do some prospecting as well. I threw a dry washer in my pickup when we went, and after dropping him off, I was able to swing through one of my favorite places. In my book, I call it the Little Mystery Placer. I haven't been out there in over 3 years, and I wanted to see if I could still find some gold out there. Before, when I was going out there, we would average probably 1 or 2 grams a day. And typically with some nice chunky stuff, nuggets, 1 gram were not that uncommon. The biggest I got out of there was 2 grams. So there is or has been some really good gold come out of that place. And I wanted to see if we could still find some. Now, it was hot and I didn't want to spend a lot of time. I didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't work very long. But I will show you what I got. Right here. You see it, it's not great. I'm not going to get rich. It didn't even cover my gasoline. We do have some chunky pieces in there. I'm not even going to be able to guess how much is there. It's not a lot, you know, not even close to even half a gram. Maybe a quarter gram, I don't know. But it was interesting. It was interesting to find this gold primarily because I wasn't finding the nuggets. Typically, I've worked down in the bottom of the wash, and we get nice chunky gold, and really I haven't been finding much in the way of fine gold. But this time I didn't work down in the gully bottom. I actually worked just up above it, kind of on a side hill. I wanted to see where the gold went and if it carried laterally. And what we found was, yeah, we weren't getting the nuggets that I'm typically used to getting. But that's where the fine gold was coming in. And so we know that there is more gold up there. We know it extends laterally now. But again, the nuggets are mostly in the bottom. Now, I did mention every time I've gone out there, just about at least, I've come away with at least 1 or 2 small nuggets. And I was really bummed that I hadn't found any nuggets this time. But interestingly, as I cleaned up, my very last dry washer run, the very last pan I took of anything, I found a little nugget. Right here, this little BB-sized nugget weighs in at 0.2 grams. Made my whole trip. It was really exciting to find that, yeah, there is still chunky, coarse gold up there. It's not as big as I was hoping for, and normally on a trip like this, I would find 3 or 4 or 5 of these in this size range. And that's how typically I would get my weight totals up to 2 grams, a whole bunch of these things. In this case, I had actually finished working. I hadn't found really any large chunky pieces or small nuggets. And all I did was just sweep off what was left of the bedrock and kind of shovel up around all the edges to make sure I had everything properly cleaned up. And when I washed down that last pan, there it was. You know, one small nugget. So at the end of the day, I had a nugget that was about 0.2 grams. And then I had these fines. I'm just going to guess that they weigh another 0.2 or 0.3 grams. So without weighing it, I'm just going to call it maybe a half a gram day, probably a little under a half a gram day. So not very good gold, but it isn't that bad considering by noon I was packing up and cleaning up. And I only worked for a few hours in the morning. And that time from when I started working till noon, it includes a lunch break and a couple of other breaks with my kid because he wasn't much on digging. So spend a few times, actually watched a TV show with him out there. So it wasn't digging all the time. So a half a day and I get a small nugget and another few tenths of a gram of fine gold. So it was actually a pretty good trip at the end of the day. I just wanted to show that so you guys know there is still gold in Utah and there can be some pretty good gold in Utah. We're just heading into the fall season. You know, I was up there at the end of August. It was really hot and that's probably the biggest reason I left by noon was it was too hot to work. But we're heading into this fall season. Temperatures are dropping down, things are still dry, everything's still open. It's a great time to go prospecting and there's plenty of gold out there. Go get some. Hopefully I'll get a chance to come back and do a little more work in Utah. If you guys see me out there, please come by and say hello. I'd love to meet you. And I think we'll sign out here. So from Southern California, we'll see you down the trail.